In a recent podcast on impact theory, hosted by Tom Bilyeu, Robert Breedlove discussed the US banking crisis and how it is likely to worsen. He talked about the problems with fractional reserve banking, which is essentially a scam that cannot sustainably support depositors' interests over time. He cited the collapse of SVB banking, which invested in poor ventures, as evidence of this issue, and highlighted that bank runs are only possible with fractional reserve banking, and not with full reserve banking. Breedlove went on to explain how fractional reserve banking and money printing can lead to systemic breakdown and hyperinflation. The money creation process leads to a lot of debt and credit in the system, and economic shocks can expose the lack of assets to meet liabilities, leading to deflationary shocks and liquidity crises. Central banks then intervene by printing more money, causing inflation and robbing savers. This cycle is unsustainable and leads to hyperinflation, which is fought with regulations and capital controls. Breedlove warned that we are approaching a systemic breakdown due to the increasing orders of magnitude of money printing. Breedlove also discussed how the actions of central banks can have severe consequences. Printing too much money leads to hyperinflation, while raising interest rates slows down the economy. A recession is inevitable, and central banks are trying to find a balance. Breedlove criticized the Keynesian economic mentality, which he believes is flawed. Breedlove argued that gold has the lowest inflation rate and the highest stock-to-flow ratio, making it the most inflation-resistant commodity. Gold's supply increases the least due to its chemical nature, and its production is a competitive market, unlike fiat currency, which can be produced from nothing. Breedlove then discussed the advantages of private property ownership, which incentivizes productivity. Under private property, individuals have an incentive to keep what they earn and create value. Individuals also have an incentive to protect their property, including the environment. Private property and capitalism can offer solutions to many world problems, as centralized governments and central banks generate revenue by violating private property. Breedlove criticized the US exit tax for net worth above $2 million as a form of tyranny that removes the power to say no. Economic competition is important for keeping producers honest, but the state's monopoly on violence has normalized institutionalized theft. Breedlove also discussed how Bitcoin is based on the idea of not stealing and consent. He argued that the concept of money is based on a socially emergent agreement between people, and that Bitcoin is a superior monetary technology that will outcompete gold. Everywhere humans have come into contact with a superior monetary technology, they have gravitated towards it over time, and Bitcoin gives power to the people by enabling them to conserve purchasing power over time. In a Bitcoin world, custodying Bitcoin in your own secret collaborative custody arrangement makes violence a huge disincentive, leading to a fundamentally more peaceful and wealthy world, with more flourishing arts and culture. Breedlove argued that Bitcoin adoption is happening naturally in developing economies due to the pain caused by currency monopolization and state predation. The state, by inducing pain, will do more to educate people about Bitcoin than any educators or content creators can, as people tend to move their purchasing power into a form that cannot be preyed upon. Finally, Breedlove discussed how shifting the profit incentive to non-coercive activities could lead to the dissolution of central banking and statism. Coercive and violent activities will become less profitable with the use of seizure-resistant money like Bitcoin. Bitcoin functioning as an alternative to traditional fiat rails highlights its unstoppability. Privacy tools like Wasabi Wallet are improving day by day with Bitcoin, allowing for super anonymity. Breedlove also talked about how the world is becoming increasingly digital, with a potential for a virtual economic stream and lifestyle.